Today we are going to create a word cloud using the ggplot. So let's get started. So we would need to load some libraries, and that'll be ggwordcloud, patchwork, and dplyr. And let's create some data. There's a built-in data set called love words small and love words. So I've just created both of them, and you can see that there are words, the love words in different languages and the number of speakers, etc. So let's create a plot out of it. So using ggplot and using the df small, which I've just created, the label is the word and the size is the speakers, so number of speakers. And I want to color it by the name. And where is this name coming from? This is actually in the data. So if I just do the structure of the data, you would see there is a name field and there are different native speakers or the language names in there. So I'm using that, and that'll give us a different color for each of those words based on the name. And let's do the second plot. I'm going to make small changes, and the change would be that I want to change the color. Instead of coloring it by name, I'm going to color it by number of speakers. So this is numerical quantity. So the shade is going to vary. The low shade would be the dark red and the high would be the red. So let's try another one now. So I'm using the same plot again. I'm using the theme minimal. So just applying the theme. And now we can also vary the size. So we can use the scale size area and change the size of the words. I'm trying to show you different sizes, and some of them will get really big and absurd. So use what fits well on your plot. So I'm just going to plot all of them together for you. I'm using the patchwork to combine it together. You can see the sizes. Some of them are absurd, some of them are really okay. Now I'm going to add the proper size. The maximum size 30 was kind of okay, so I used that in my thing. And we can try different themes also. So I'm running the same plot with different themes. You can see that theme classic, theme BW, etc. So it makes small changes to those. And all the words were horizontal, but we can change the angle. And just a tip, if you put those 4 or more than 4 dashes like this, you would see that it appears in the outline. So which is very useful to navigate your script. So I've created angle 0 or 90 based on some random sample, saying I want 60% of them to be 0 and then 40% of them to be 90 degrees. So if I run this now and using that angle equals angle 0 or 90, you would see that we have a plot, and some words are 90 degree rotated, some of them are still horizontal. So you can combine different probabilities and do what you want. Now in this case, we only did angle 0 or angle 90. But what if we wanted some random angles also? So I'm going to create some random angles now. Instead of just 0 and 90, we can create any angle between 0 and 90. And how do we do that? Let's see that. So I'm using this angle random command, angle random variable, and just creating random angles. You can see that they're varying degrees of angles between 0 and 90. So the min equals 0, max equals 90. So let's run it, and using angle random as the angle, and let's plot it. So here we go. Now, what if we said, okay, I want the higher values, the top values which need more focus to be horizontal, and the others to be the low values in terms of, numerical quantity to be rotated. So we can do that also. So I've created another random angle. The higher values based on the number of speakers are horizontal, and the others would be rotated randomly. So the chart would look like this. And there's also another variable called eccentricity. I spelled it wrong though in the comments. So when you run it, you get a little bit of Slight variation here and there. I try to run different levels of eccentricities to see what the difference is, and I'm going to show all the charts together for you. There's very slight variation in the eccentricity. I really couldn't detect much of the changes except that some of them were a bit jittery. And you can also control the geometric shapes. So for example, you can say that I want to have my cloud based on a cardioid shape or a circle shape or a triangle shape, etc. So let me run all of them together: circle, cardioid, diamond, square, triangle, etc. and just run all the codes together. And let's see all the charts together in one go. There we go. So we got different shapes. So what next can we do? We created different shapes, but what about if we already have a shape like a file? So we can do that also. I'm just going to create some random angles, and using that angle I can actually say I'm going to use the angle, the rotated by the angle which I've just created, but I'm also going to mask it by the file which I have. In this case I'm using a file which already exists, but you can obviously choose whatever file you have and then use that using the read PNG option, and then it'll give you a chart which will be overlaid on that particular shape of the image. So let's run it. So it looks something like this. Depending upon your file or the shape, you would get different results, and I'm just trying to experiment with different sizes or the size of the font, so you can see that things are changing slightly. Now let's talk about something which is most useful, at least I find it very, very useful, is to facet it. So ggplot offers this facet facility where you can create different charts based on a variable. For example, we can use the variable type of speakers, and we can create a chart which looks something like this. But when we try to add the facet command in there and say I want to facet wrap using the type, then you will get something like this. And I find that to be the most useful because you can actually segregate the results based on the power which ggplot offers. So I hope you found this information useful and practical. Thank you very much for watching it. And if you like it, then please subscribe and like. Thank you.